So in my last video, I showed you how to combine simple formulas and pivot tables to answer a little bit of a tough question, that being adding up all the numbers in the data field for divisions that have data rows every year from the start year 1991 until the end year 1995. So they have to have rows where, let's say for billing, they have to have 1991, another row where it says billing here 1992, all the way up to 1995. So if they're missing even one of those years, we can't add up the data. We just have to leave it blank. So it's something with only a few rows it would be easy, but with many thousands of rows, it's difficult to determine if it qualifies for both of those conditions. So here we can see that these, according to our current range, starting 1991, ending 1995, and the years in the middle, all these are out because they're not within that range. I think all of these are beyond 1995, so they're out. So the previous video I did like a sort of a step-by-step with helper formulas, pivot tables to answer that. But here we're going to try to do it only with formulas to get a final answer in here, adding up only the ones that qualify. So they have numbers for all 5 years, and the particular year here is within the range as well. So the first thing we'll do is just get a true false going over the top here. Like we've got I'll back up a step. We have a matrix here. So division, we have all the unique divisions from column A. And for the year, we have all the years from the first year until the end year. So the first year is 1990. If I scroll to the right, I have everything up until the year 2012. So we're going to create, first of all, a little true false helper row up here. And we're going to say, and this value is greater than or equal to 1991. I'm going to press the F4 key to lock it. And also, this value has to be less than or equal to 1995. So it's just a way to make sure it's either the same or in between the two. So I'm just going to highlight this range, paste, and here of course, we're seeing the true, meaning 1991, 92, 93, 94, 95. Everything else to the right and to the left is false. So that's the first step. Now what we want to do is determine how many. Okay, so we want to, because for example, some of them we know, I think it was IT. Let's say this one. You'll see in a minute how it's missing. See how there's all 5 up here, but some of these divisions don't have sales for some of these years, so they would be disqualified. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to do count ifs, which allow 2 criteria. This is a new function starting in Excel version 2007. So 2010 also has it, 2013. So we want to go like this. This is the criteria for the division. And oops, we lock that. We come back to the top. And of course, we're in this row. We want sales. Sorry, one more time. Press the wrong. Have a new mouse I'm using. I'm not quite used to it. F4 locks that, and then a comma, and we click in here, and it is for sales. F4 again, so that it's locked. Just the column is locked. When we drag it to the right, it will stay on column F, which we see right here. And the 9 will change as we drag it down. It will become row 10, which is billing, and so forth. So that's the first condition. The second condition now is going to be we want column C. So I'm just going to go in here and copy this, paste. I'm going to go in here. Oops, change this to mouse is sticking. Change that to a C and this to a C. And we're going to put in that it has to, the column C, which is our year, has to be equal to 1990. I'm going to lock this. Oops, lock it. Yep, just like that. So I'm going to press the Enter key once I put on that final bracket. And here we get a 0. Drag this down, and we see it's populating. Just basically simple counting how many are there. All we care about is whether there's at least one of them. So for IT, here's the years that we're interested in according to our current selection of start year 1991 and year 1995. And we see that they have 1993, there's one, 94, there's a whole bunch, 95, there's 17, but 91, 92, there are 0. So we're not in our final little area over here when we add them up. This one does not qualify. The only ones that qualify are the ones that have, for all the true up here, I'll just bold that, we have numbers down below, which is here. And so this one is out. We can see this one is included. This one is included also here. Marketing, so marketing reporting, and sales. Finance is out. We have nothing. There's no rows that have finance for the division, and 1992 for the year. So that one is out. Same with IT. There's 2 with zeros. Contact center. There's no row that has contact center for division in 1991 for the year. Visual graphics is also out. So the next step that we want to do now is just put basically a true false. And what we do is this. We go back into the cell, click and. So we're turning, our condition is this. Does it equal, or is it greater than 0? That is our condition. We put a comma. And the next step, we can't forget that even though we have some numbers here, we have to include the true false at the top as well. Because see how we have lots of numbers for 1997, 98, 99, 2000. But up here, this little helper row, these are all false. So we want to just exclude all of these as well. So we're going to now just include that cell. We have to lock it. We want the column to be not locked, perfect, just like this, and the row to be locked. So when we drag it to the right, H becomes I becomes J. When we drag it down, it's still on row 6, which we see over here, row 6. So put on the closing parentheses, press the Enter key, and we're getting false. Now I'll just make this a little bit smaller, drag it down, drag it all the way over to the right. So now we have true, false all the way across. The ones we care about are the ones that have 5 that are true. So this sales is in, this is out, because even though it's true at the top, we have a false here. And so we see all the way down, I mean, obviously this one is included, HR, reporting is included, marketing, finance is out because of the false here. Here we have 2 false, here we have 1, and this one's out too. So what we want to do now is see how many. We want to say count if, and we want to include this range. We're just going to lock it so the rows are not locked. We want to say counting the trues, and we don't need to put quotes around this because true is a Boolean value. So we press the Enter key. We're getting 5. We'll drag this down. So now we see, as I said before, sales is included, billing is out, it's missing 1 year. These are all included and the rest are all out. So now we can just say this. We can say equals the count if equals 5. Lock that, press the Enter key, and now we just drag this down. So finally, now this is a lot of formulas. This is the harder way to do it. The other video I created was easier with simple formulas and 2 pivots. But now finally we can say this. Here we have a true value. So we know it meets both conditions, that the row and the group for the division has everything we need. Now we can just say if this whole thing equals false, then we just stop, blank. Else, if it's true, which we know it is, actually let me just reverse that. If the COUNTIF equals J4, then the true value is that we want to just do our final formula, okay? So, in this case we know it's true because the sales had everything we needed. We have true across the top here and in this area. So we're going to do this. We have to add, we're going to put our sum ifs What's the criteria? Well, we have to do this. The sum range is going to be finally data. Finally, we're going to use this data column. Now, we want to get back to the top, and so for the criteria range, it has to be like this. We lock it. Column B is our division. Control Home to go to the top. We click on the sales. Just lock it like that. The next criteria is that it has to be the correct year. So we're not just going to add up all the data for sales, but it has to be data where the years are within our range. So now we're just going to go like this. F4, comma, Control Home to go to the top. We're going to say greater than or equal to, get our starting year. And then I'm going to do the same thing. The shortcut here is to copy and paste, put a 3 over here, but also reverse the operator. So we're saying has to be less than or equal to the ending year. So greater than or equal to, so that's our criteria range, column C, which is here, the year. Greater than or equal to J2, which is the start. Same thing again, the year, which is column C. Less than or equal to J3, which is the end year. So press the up, and one little thing, that is the, click over here, close this off. That is this is the true part now of our if statement. So if the COUNTIF equals J4, which is 5, so if the result of the COUNTIF equals J4, then do the SUMIFs. If it's not true, we want to just put a blank. Press the Enter key. All right, and then we'll just drag this all the way down. So we're getting either numbers or we're getting blanks. And these are the exact same answers that we got doing it the other way with simpler formulas combined with pivot tables. So if I click in this other sheet, which had the answers for the other video, we see it in here. These are the exact same numbers that we have this time, and this is all live formulas. So two different ways to do it, but as you can tell, this way is still pretty simple formulas, but more formulas, longer formulas, and I'm sure though that there's other ways to do it with VBA, or possibly with one formula that goes all the way down. I have to think about that one, but it would be very difficult to describe to someone, but I'm sure it's possible.